We're spending the next 4 days in Singapore.
Woo!
Despite the relatively small size of the city and a garden, there is a
ton of things to do here. Birthday! No.
Even on our relatively small budget.
Oh my god, he's so cool.
We explored the must-sees like the gardens by the bay, as well as the truly super trees. But we also raced around empty F1 tracks, and guess who won?
Oh my gosh, the winner!
Discovered free parks, temples, and light shows.
The actual Buddha. His tooth is here.
And saving the best for last, we sought out the most mouth-watering foods, much of which came from Singapore's famous hawker stalls.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is our entire Singapore vlog series wrapped up into one bingeable vlogumentary. So grab some coffee or a tiger beer and do not watch this while hungry.
We're actually going to be eating at a 1-star Michelin restaurant.
Yeah, I think he was
that's a spoon. One of the coolest things that we've learned about Singapore so far is how it's such a sustainable and green city. Even though it's a massive city with tons of skyscrapers and lots of traffic, there is so much greenery here. Nearly 50% of the entire country is green space. Even if it's not a large park or a running path, they have tree-lined streets and even rooftop gardens to hang out at. We're here at Design Orchard, which is just across the street from our hotel. And it's a cute little cafe and art studio, and they have tons of green space outside. So even though we're right in the city, there's still little pockets of space that we can get out of the hustle and bustle and the heat, because there's lots of shade here, which I greatly appreciate.
It is a scorcher out today. It's only 89 degrees, but it feels like 102 degrees, and the humidity is like 67%, but feels like about 1,000%. Are you warm?
Yeah.
People carry around umbrellas a lot here. Obviously, it just creates shade for you while you're walking, but also it rains here all the time and somewhat unexpectedly. Oh my gosh. Singapore has designated smoking areas pretty much everywhere that you are outside. So if you see just a line of people, most likely they are all smoking. Like, wow.
Strangely enough, Singapore feels like the New York of Asia, and since I was getting borderline hangry, we figured we'd come to one of my favorite New York spots, Shake Shack, because they have one.
When walking around Singapore, sometimes you just get lost in the fact that you're actually in Southeast Asia, and it's just subtle things. For example, when you look down, the sidewalks are clean, they're level everywhere, and they're very wide to accommodate for a ton of foot traffic. And then when you look up, you're used to seeing like a nest of wires in Southeast Asia, so big sometimes that you can hear the electricity running through it. But here in Singapore, you don't see anything at all.
If Singapore is New York, then Orchard Road is definitely Fifth Avenue. We are going to be heading down to the Marina Bay, and luckily the easiest way to get there is the public transportation, which is not always the case in Southeast Asia, but the MRT system is the subway, and it's awesome and super easy and nice and air conditioned. I literally love using Google Maps to get around on public transportation. It's so easy. It tells you exactly which direction you're going, what exit to take, and here they have all the exits marked by like A, B, C, or D, and it says exit on exit A right now, so we can walk more inside because it's so freaking hot outside. Another way we thought about getting around town found, which is really easy, but I'm glad didn't work out, are ride-sharing bikes. The ones that we tried to use were like half broken, and it's only 87 degrees, but it feels like 100. So being inside with air conditioning as much as possible, very helpful.
And then there's also Grabs, just like Uber. Pretty popular here, but it's definitely one of the more expensive ways to get around Singapore.
It's really nice because everybody speaks English here. It's actually one of the 4 official languages in Singapore. The other 2 are Malay, which is from Malaysia, just north of Singapore, Mandarin, and Tamil, which is from southern India and Sri Lanka. And we've seen a lot of signs in all the languages, but we can always find English, which is so helpful. Look at, I just came across the F1 night racing track.
Alicia, turn around.
Unbelievable. That car is literally so expensive.
Yes. Cars here are bonkers.
The F1 night race is actually the first night race of the F1 series, and it happens here in Singapore every year. I believe it's in September, and everything is going to be super expensive in town, so we will not be here for it. Singapore is consistently in the top 10 lists of most expensive city and countries in the whole entire world. And one of the major reasons for it being so expensive is the price of cars. Since Singapore is only 277 square miles, it's a rather small country. And in order to keep traffic at a more manageable level, they limit the number of cars that are allowed on the road. In order to purchase a car, you also need to purchase a certificate of entitlement or a COE, and oftentimes those are just as expensive as the car, if not more expensive than the car. For example, if you were to buy a $15,000 Toyota, which is a pretty inexpensive car, it will cost you up to $95,000 with the COE, additional fees, taxes, insurance, etc., etc. And since Mercedes-Benz is the second most popular brand that's sold in Singapore, they are not paying only $96,000 for their cars. It's more like a minimum of $200,000. Wow, it's so pretty out here. Look at the gardens by the bay.
Oh my gosh.
It feels like Avatar.
It does.
This is the track. This is like the Formula One track that they race on. What a freaking great view.
And people are just running, walking, and biking on it. That's amazing.
That is so cool.
That is incredible.
What like a smart, innovative way to like make it still useful.
Yes, that is so true. You ready? I'll give you the countdown.
Okay. On your mark. Get set. Go!
Oh, it's so competitive. But he comes from behind. I like this. I think you won. Yeah, you totally did. Oh my gosh, the winner. Alicia.
Thanks for letting me win, babe.
Is there anybody you would like to thank right now?
What was that thing that you said? I'd just like to thank the airlines for letting us fly at this time so I could go to Singapore and win the F1 night race.
You crushed it. You crushed it. Good job.
Okay, this is Newton Food Center, one of the most popular hawker markets, and we are looking for a man with pink hair to get stingray from, and if we see any long lines, then that's usually a good sign. So, let's check it out. Alright.
Stingray.
Yes, please.
Having here, take away.
We'll eat somewhere in here.
Yes, anywhere you like.
Yeah.
You find a table, you tell me the table number,
Okay.
I will send to you.
Okay, perfect. So hawker centers are these large food courts almost. Some are open air, some are indoors, and they just have a ton of stalls called hawker stalls that are individually run and serve sometimes similar dishes, sometimes totally different dishes. And they were actually added to UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2020. Basically, food is a huge deal in Singapore, whether it's really high-class 3-star restaurants or it's a hawker market where you can get a meal for under $5. Note, we haven't found a under $5 meal yet, but we're starting with the barbecue stingray, which is a recommendation from my friend Bree. Her friend Stacy told us to look for the guy with the pink hair, so I'm excited to try it. This is our first time having stingray, and I guess I was kind of expecting it to be super rubbery, like squid almost, because of what they look like and what they feel like if you've ever touched a stingray. But this just flaked right apart. That is so good. It's kind of spicy, which won't be spicy for Nate because of like the barbecue sauce. It's honestly just like any other fish, and the lime on top, it's like almost Mexican flavored. Such a good recommendation. Look, it's kind of spicy. Oh, the perfect, it's like 2 pieces.
Wow.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Is that okay?
Yeah, what the heck though? Look at that. What is that?
I don't know.
Is that just the meat? It looks like tubes. Like, is that the gills? Does it taste the same?
Very good. Alright, you can fully eat that. In most places they take credit card, but on occasion you get the cash only. The cash here in Singapore feels very silky, and one thing I love about every other country except for the US is that currency is a different color for every different dollar bill. It's so much easier to track and keep separate. Our first impressions of Singapore are, we love it. If we could afford to live here, I would say we'd pack our bags in a heartbeat, but they're already packed and they're here. We would just stay. Wow, we just went through the Marina Bay sands and we are on the bridge that leads to the Garden by the Bay, and immediately you're hit with this beautiful bridge with all these trees, and you can see just a sea of green, so the garden's already starting, and then of course just on top of that, Singapore. It's beautiful already. Look at this place, it is so freaking pretty. First stop of the day is going to be to the Super Tree Grove.
We are in the Super Tree Grove, which is home to 12 of the 18 super trees. So this is probably the most popular spot in the whole park, and it's free to get in here. So even if you just want to go on a walk, or Nate might come on a run, just through the Super Tree Grove. These things are super cool though. They're actually concrete structures with steel on the outside. That's what that purple part is there. And thousands of plants just growing on the outside. They actually help collect a lot of exhaust, and there's solar panels up at the top. This super tree right here in the middle is the tallest one. It's 50 meters high, and there's actually an observatory, so you can go up to the top of it and see the views over the whole Gardens by the Bay, downtown skyline, etc., etc.
His name is Hank?
You look real close, you'll see here we got a snail. It's a Hank type of snail. He's got 2 eyes out on his long things on the top of his head, and he's got 2 smaller ones that he's using to eat. Oh my god, he's so cool. Alright, I feel like a kid. I have not laid in the grass since I was like 12.
Thank you so much.
We are now in the Cloud Forest Dome, which is absolutely massive. It actually holds the world's 2nd largest indoor waterfall, which, funnily enough, Singapore actually outdid itself and built the 1st largest indoor waterfall as well at the Changi Airport. I love this tree. There are thousands of plants in the Cloud Forest from all over the world, including this cypress from East Himalayas. I love it. It just looks so droopy and sleepy.
So you want to be a tree that is droopy and sleepy?
Yeah, it's cute and cozy.
All right, one very true to nature aspect of the cloud forest is all of the mist, and it comes from the waterfalls, and sometimes they're just like artificially putting it out into the space. But it's very true, and we're in Monteverde, which is basically a cloud forest in Costa Rica. It's just like this, just always walking through like mist and fog. It just gives it that like mystical fairy tale like feel.
This is the cloud walk, and it kind of spirals around the whole main feature with the waterfall all the way back down to the bottom. You get such a cool perspective, not only of the cloud forest, but over all of Singapore, including the rest of Gardens by the Bay, Marina Bay Sands Hotel, and the bay out here. It's beautiful. I wish I could like sit here all day and read a book.
And what a great idea to take the elevator up and then just like walk down and see all of the beauty. When I saw people walking around here, I thought we had to climb the entire way to get the whole experience, but going downhill, definitely my preferred method.
One of the ways that they are attempting to make everything sustainable here in the Gardens by the Bay is they have these sensors built into the top that will automatically expand these sails to shade the area in here, because these plants can't get too hot, otherwise they'll die. And instead of using like air conditioning or any water-based systems, they're more sustainably using sails to shade them.
Last stop here in the Cloud Forest Dome is the treetop walk, and then we'll be downstairs and we'll leave. Whoops.
It's like a normal leaf on top, and it's all felty on the bottom.
Whoa.
Look at them, they look cool.
What happened?
I just stabbed myself with a really spiky plant. It's so spiky, look at it. I just went bam. We bought tickets that combine both the Cloud Forest Dome with the Flower Dome, which is where we are now. And this is the largest glass greenhouse in the entire world. It is massive.
And it's funny because when you're across the bay looking at this dome, and even from our hotel room, it looks big, but it doesn't look huge. But once you're inside here, it is just massive and looks like you could walk miles before you see the whole thing. But I guess that makes sense because in this dome, there are plants from over 5 continents. Maybe it's just like the American in me, but in Gardens by the Bay, the Cloud Walk, and now in the Flower Dome, there's like not a lot of vending, even to get like a bottle of water. But I think that's a good thing. It just surprises me at the same time.
These olive trees are thousands of years old. They're huge. I've never seen an olive tree with such a fat trunk.
Whoa, I'm worried about the singing notes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You're still doing this?
This is fun. Don't you want to hit? What time is it? 5? I did 5. Even has a phone charger.
After walking through Gardens by the Bay all day, it really reminds me of Central Park. It's so pretty. And now all there's left to do is to see this place at night. Okay, not nighttime, but it turns out we have one more thing to do. This is the OCBC Sky Bridge, and we bought tickets. Alicia just forgot. But it has a 15-minute time limit, so we're gonna wait till the sun is getting a little closer to setting to hopefully catch the most beautiful view that we can.
Wow, it's beautiful up here. We're 22 meters high on a couple of the super trees here, and this pathway just walks between them like above the whole garden. It's kind of crazy. It's already 7:30 and the show starts at 7:45. It's called Garden Rhapsody and it happens every night, 2 times a night, 7:45 and 8:45. And it's a light and sound show that takes place on the super trees in the Super Tree Grove. But tonight is an even more special night because it's May 4th, aka May the 4th be with you, which is a Star Wars reference. So they are having a Star Wars themed show tonight. We just watched every single Star Wars movie for the first time and the TV shows that are on Disney now, so we're actually really excited for this. And they actually just let you kind of sit wherever. I heard the best way to watch it is laying down, so we brought our blanket and are just going to be laying down in the middle, and people are starting to fill in now that it's really close, but it's really not too crowded. We were able to find a great spot only 15 minutes before the show.
Tonight, the force is strong with the saber trees as it takes you on a journey to the light and the dark side.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Okay, sorry.
The light show was phenomenal. I love light and sound shows, and this one was definitely up to expectations. So happy we're here for May 4th. And we just want 2 kaya toasts and 2 coffees.
First stop of the day is breakfast, but I'm not gonna lie, it's 12:30 in the afternoon. It was a late start, we had a late night. But we are at Yakun Kaya Toast. This is like a very traditional breakfast and one of the more affordable ones here in Singapore. What's in this? It's just toast with a fairly large slab of butter in there and some kaya, which is like a coconut type spread. And of course, coffee, 3rd cup of the day.
2 pro tips that we've learned so far. 1, all coffee in Southeast Asia comes with sugar, so you have to ask for no sugar if you don't like sugar in your coffee. 2, if you're eating on a budget in Singapore, you have to pay for your own napkins wherever you go, so bring your own. Brought hand wipes and napkins. We bought these from some guy at a hawker market last week, and it was $1 for 3 packs, so it's lasted us the whole time.
That was like so much butter, more than we've had on previous toast that we've had. But I think it's time to go walk some of this off.
The cheapest way to get around town in Singapore is walking, but it's so hot and so humid, so we try to limit walking to as little as possible. So we're taking the MRT, that's the next best option. It's air conditioned, it's cool, and it's super easy. We just tap our cards and go. And it's usually around $1 per person per ride. Since we're on a $50 budget today, we're trying to do as many free things as possible. Luckily, there are a ton of free things to do here, including going to the park. So we went to Fort Canning Park. It's one of the most popular ones here in Singapore, and there's a couple of stops we want to make.
In addition to being a very beautiful green space within the city and holding these super cool bench swings, Fort Canning Park holds some really interesting history. Here at the Battle Box is where Singapore surrendered to Japan in 1942. This building behind me served as the headquarters for the British Far East Command throughout World War II and has now been converted into a hotel right here in Fort Canning Park.
And this is a recreation of a 14th century garden that the kings would have had at their palaces right here on Fort Canning Hill. Just $1 Singaporean for a nice cold water.
That is the least expensive thing we have paid for in Singapore.
Real quick, I was pretty hot, pretty cranky, pretty thirsty, pretty hungry, all the things all at once. So we basically went home and then I changed my mind because I had some nice cool air conditioning. So now we're back out again and our MRT total will be a little bit higher than it should have been. But hopefully we can still make it under the $50.
I think what we lost in MRT funds, we've gained back in skipping lunch. So I think it kind of washes out.
All right, we're gonna head into the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple, which is just behind me here. It's 5 stories and has a fun story. It's called the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple because one of Buddha's teeth is inside. The actual Buddha, his tooth is here. We're gonna find it. The Buddha Tooth Relic Temple is just stunning. It left me speechless. Honestly, I think it's probably one of the most beautiful temples that we've ever been inside. Just the details, the gold, and they had a rooftop garden. It was so peaceful in there. The only real way to stay within any sort of budget on dining is to go to hawker markets. So for a late lunch, early dinner, we're going to the Chinatown complex. It was recommended by one of our subscribers, Hoi, and I am so hungry. Thank you. Do I just do it myself? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So the recommendation was go where there are people. So we went to the busiest hawker stall we could find. Luckily it was a Michelin recommendation from 2018 and 2019, so I think we made a good choice. I read the little article on their window and decided to order what was in the article, which was the spicy Szechuan wontons and the dumplings. I'm gonna try the not spicy one first. I found that people have vinegar a lot more than soy sauce here, but it's just as good. Oh my god. It's so sticky, but delicious. It's so good with the vinegar though. I love like dumplings, and we called them pot stickers growing up, but I know that's not what they're actually called, but I love them. Now, I'm a little nervous about the spicy one because it said something about mouth numbing in the article. Certainly spicy, but not too bad. If I ate this whole plate by myself, I would be crying at the end of it. I honestly don't know what's inside of them, but it's delicious. I love this food. Good enough?
Super good. I can go for a little more spice though.
Ooh, I got some cilantro at the end. That was so good.
Although the food was not spicy per se, my lips are like tingling right now. Hoi, thank you again for that recommendation. The food was amazing.
Interesting to look up what the average daily rate at hotels in Singapore is. Turns out it's $200 a night. That's the average rate. For comparison, in San Diego, the busiest week of the entire year is Comic-Con, and the average daily rate in San Diego is $215 during the busiest week of the entire year. And here, year-round, it's $200. Singapore also has the highest concentration of millionaires anywhere in the entire world. There's 1 millionaire for every 6 people.
Time for sunset. The cool thing is we actually have one tonight because for the majority of our trip here in Singapore, it's been very overcast this time of night, and I think we found the perfect spot for it. Sun setting so fast.
Okay, are you going down further?
You can go down there.
Why don't we do that?
98% sure we can be down here. 2% not really sure. We just like mention or talk about the fact that this is an Apple store right here. It's crazy. It's like a bubble out on the water. So I think you actually have to go into the mall underneath and then you pop back up into the store. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy and cool. We are at the light show here on the Marina Bay, and this is $0. So despite how expensive Singapore is, there's actually so much to do for free here. And I think it's like another 15-minute show, just like Gardens by the Bay. So we're going to enjoy that, and then we're gonna get some dinner.
cancelled due to technical difficulties.
So the show's very abruptly canceled, but I think we got most of it because it was like 13 to 14 minutes into it. I don't know, the sound just cut out and they're like, show's been canceled, next show's at 9. Thoughts?
Great background with the skyline and Marina Bay Sands right behind you. Really cool spot, and it wasn't too crowded, so we found a spot pretty easily.
What is this? We're on our way to the Apple store and we just ran into this.
The beef Wellington for 2 people with sides cost $160 at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant in Singapore.
That, believe it or not, is a hawker market, and that's where we're going to dinner. It's freaking beautiful.
We went to a Japanese and Korean place, and the food smells so good. Holy crap, that is so good. And we only spent 14 Singaporean dollars for the food. Plus we spent $3.20 on sodas, but they also have beer and everything here. We're just trying to stick under that $50 budget we have. Cheers.
Oh, so hot. Oh, so hot.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
Our total ended up being around $42. We'll put the actual total right here, but so impressed we could do it. I thought it was gonna be way harder than it was, especially with the food, because that has been our top expense so far, but the hawker markets were lifesavers.
In today's food tour, we're starting with lunch. For our first lunch, we're at Ang Mo Noodle House.
Can we get the signature wonton noodle, small please? We ordered their signature dish, which is a wonton noodle dish, and we ordered dry, but you can order soup as well. I didn't actually see that until just now. But this is a yellow egg noodle dish with some sort of meat. I'm guessing pork with some sort of green. I think this is bok choy. And then the wontons are in a soup on the side with green onions, which I absolutely love. But I'm gonna try the wonton soup first. I think in the US we always think of wontons as like the fried wontons, which are delicious. But so far here in Singapore we've had wontons that aren't. It's more like a dumpling almost. I'm scared this is like really hot. Okay, I didn't eat it yet, but the soup it's in is delicious. Ooh, yeah, the wontons are good. It's a much more like hearty flavor than we had yesterday. Again, I think it's chicken inside.
My chopstick skills still bad after one day. I'm putting the spice to the test on these egg noodles and pork. There's a small amount of heat, not a lot. It feels like there's just like little chili flakes on it, but the pork is thinly sliced and very tender. I wish there was more because it's very good and there's only like 10 pieces on it.
It's really good.
It's very good.
Okay, try it with the chili though.
I'm going in. Everybody's gonna have to see this.
Spicy?
More chili.
Oh my god, babe, you ate all the chilies.
The chili's had a little more heat, but not what I expected at least. I think someone disagrees with me.
Oh my god. I didn't even eat a chili. It's spicy. I don't know if I'm just inhaling the red pepper flakes or something.
A quick correction, I want more pork, but we ordered a small. So I'm sure it comes with more with like medium and large.
Oh, that's true.
You know, I just want to make sure that's a fair statement.
Yeah, it's so good. We're in the Ju Chiat area, which is super cute. At first I was a little upset that we couldn't just take the MRT to our next spot since it's a 25 to 30 minute walk, but I'm actually happy. It's a really cute area and there's lots of shade. This is another recommended spot. It's called Geylang Lor 29 Hokkien Mi, and it's at this really, really tiny little hawker market with a couple other stalls. And we walked up and she said, how many dishes? So there's like one signature dish and that's what we got. It's prawn Hokkien Mi, which is a yellow egg noodle plus a white rice noodle. So there's 2 different noodles in the dish with some, it looks like octopus, definitely shrimp and lime, and I think there might be egg in it. I can't tell if it's egg or another meat, but it looks delicious and nice and saucy. We also got a fried carrot cake, which is a very popular dish here in Singapore, and it's not a sweet dish like it is back home. It's actually fried radish and rice flour cake, so it's a savory dish, and it looks like an omelet here, but I don't think it's gonna taste like an omelet. yum, I would totally eat this for breakfast. It definitely has egg in it with like the carrot cake and spices and herbs. I think it's really good.
It's either hockey in me or hokey in me, but I'm trying it regardless. Ever since this dish came to the table though, it smells very much of peanut sauce. So that's my expectation in taking this bite. It does taste like peanut sauce, but not to the extent that I thought.
It's peanut oil.
It's peanut oil. And the texture is very soft, and whenever there's like a soft texture like that, I kind of want like a little crunch to follow it, but that's the only thing I don't think you get in this dish. Maybe it's because this has been sitting here for 25 minutes. Being from the US, I always expect prawns or any kind of seafood just to be lathered in butter, but it's not. It's like a very clean and just nice taste.
I think this is like the little carrot cake pieces.
That is?
I mean, the whole thing is what you're supposed to eat, but like that is like what we had at Hilton, remember?
That's so tiny compared. That's 3 for 3 amazing dishes. The next one's sure to be good for reasons we'll explain in a minute.
We made it to the stop I'm most excited about. We're actually going to be eating at a 1-star Michelin restaurant. And believe it or not, it's at a hawker market. It is the world's cheapest Michelin star restaurant. For around $10 a plate, we can get world-class food. Also, really, really big surprise. There's literally nobody in line. I read that the line gets up to like 2 hours long, people trying to eat here. It's 4:05 p.m. on a Friday for reference.
Yeah, we are just closed, but the main store is over there.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you.
So they'll call number.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your help. Okay, so there's actually 2 stalls with the same name on either end of this super tiny little hawker area. Luckily, the lady directed us to the one that actually is the Michelin star restaurant. They're on their lunch break right now. He just made food for himself, so we're gonna wait until he's done. No rush to him. But they gave us a number, so when they do come back, we're first in line.
The restaurant just opened up and our number was called, but already you can start to see people lining up. So it may not be busy now, but I have a feeling as the night progresses, it's gonna be crazy here, especially on a Friday night.
Perfect. Thank you very much. He was so sweet. He told me how to eat the dish. Okay. Together? Okay. Okay. Thank you. And he got one of each for us so we could try everything. I love him. So this is the 2 and this is the 3. Mine's more like a dry with the soup on the side and his is very brothy. I mean, we're gonna both eat both of them.
Each dish comes with a variety of meats, noodles, and wontons. This is like a meatball. It's a little tougher and spongier just by picking it up. If I can pick up this wonton, I'm gonna try it. The wonton is so good. It just literally like melts in your mouth. It just carries all the flavors of broth. It's really, really nice. Listen. Oh, those are unique.
They're good, yeah. I'm gonna like crackle.
Yes, cracklings. Pork cracklings.
I was close.
You were. These noodles are good. They feel like they have like a vinegar type taste to them.
Look at this like broth in here. You can't even see it at all. Like see through it.
I just feel like you get a bigger hit of the flavors in my dish
Yeah.
than you do with the broth.
I agree with that.
It's like a punch of flavor.
So a Michelin star only comes to the top restaurants in the world, and there's no other hawker stalls, street food, casual restaurants really on the list anywhere in the world. This hawker stall is the only one in the world. Like, I just can't emphasize that enough. That is just crazy.
2.5 years of full-time travel, and we finally went to our first Michelin-starred restaurant. It was a very unique experience, and there were a ton of clean dishes returned, so I think that speaks for itself.
Okay, we have one more stop, which is dessert, but as we were walking down the street, we spotted the Sultan, and we had to go see it, and then we passed by a place that had a really long line, so now we're stopping to get it, because it's an ice drink, and it's hot, and it's perfect.
How did I end up with this?
That is hilarious. Look, he got us 2 straws, though. Whoa, it's so different. I've never had this fruit before. It tastes like lemongrass.
Okay, what is this?
Tehalia.
Tehalia. It tastes like a spiced chai tea latte. It's very good. But it's definitely a warm drink that they put over ice because it's still a little warm. The ice is still working.
We just wanted to walk up Haji Lane, which is a really popular spot, especially at night. There's a ton of like outdoor bars, and it almost feels like Madrid with like all the people sitting outside and drinking. And it's already 6:30, but it's not nearly as busy as it will be later tonight. Okay, we didn't find durian ice cream like I wanted because it's really hot and that would sound really refreshing, but we found some kaya balls and durian balls, which are really soft dough-like balls with stuff inside of them. Those are durian. It tastes like it smells. So durian is really a hit or a miss with most people. They either really love it or you really just don't like it. And it has such a strong smell. So like durian's not even allowed in most Airbnbs or hotels or even the MRT because it has such a strong odor. And you can smell it anywhere you go.
It's confusing to me. It's like a durian and dough are fighting. But I like it better. I think it's more mild, even than the ice cream we've had before. I don't mind it as much, but I don't know that I'd eat it every day for dessert either.
So you can see the kaya is actually a little darker in there. This is good. I like kaya. Ow! I just stabbed myself through the bag. I don't know which one's which. That's still durian. We definitely have to give credit where credit is due. I reached out to Bree, who I went to high school with, and she used to come to Singapore every single summer, and I knew she would have great recommendations. Not only did she send us a list of things to do and foods to eat, but she also hooked us up with one of her friends, Stacy, who lives here in Singapore. And she sent us even more things to do and even more food to try. So without the two of them, today would have been completely different. Thanks, guys. I'm trying to get the lighting right. Look at his outfits.
Look at my outfits? That's just me. Bonkers.
Come on.
This would be good for the home.
That's me, sorry. Okay.
So we have 44 US dollars and 90 cents. That's not how you talk.
Cool. I'm so blown out because the freaking light. And their solar power is up at the top.
For the Ferris wheel. Oh, I said carousel.